The Old Testament is a historical account of the Jewish people and a foreshadow of the coming of Jesus the Messiah. Today, we will do a brief overview of subjects and people in the Old Testament in Español. This will be a great exercise to improve your Spanish and expand your vocabulary. Greetings, my amigos, and welcome to Missionali. My name is Roberto, and this is where we learn Spanish through the Bible. Now, if you haven't already done so, please like, subscribe, and share this video with others. So now, my amigos, let's begin. El Antiguo Testamento comienza con los 5 libros de Moisés. Now, I won't cover every single word, but let me go over the ones that might be just a little bit more challenging. El Antiguo Testamento means the Old Testament. Now, the word antiguo needs to have the emphasis of pronunciation on the I, which has an English double E sound. Antiguo, antiguo. Now, let's say it a little faster. Antiguo. Notice that both antiguo and testamento both end in O. They are singular masculine words, so in order to agree in both gender and number, they take the definite article el. Los 5 libros means the 5 books. In Spanish, when the letter C is followed by an E or an I, it has an S sound. For example, cinco, cinco, cebolla, cebolla. Note that the main noun here is libros. The number 5, or cinco, is simply describing how many books there are. In this case, then, the definite article needs to agree with the main noun, libros. So we have los. Also, note that they both end with os. ¿Todo claro? All clear? Muy bien. De Moisés means of Moses. Now, the name Moses can be just a little tricky. The first part of the name is pronounced with the sound moi. Also, note that there's an accent over the letter E, so make sure to put the emphasis of pronunciation right there. Moisés, Moisés. Got it? Muy bien. Let's repeat our whole sentence. El Antiguo Testamento comienza con los 5 libros de Moisés. Los libros históricos incluyen los reyes Saúl, David y Salomón. Los libros históricos means the historical books. Now, this example is just a little bit different than our previous one. Los 5 libros regarding the noun and the adjective. Typically, in Spanish, the adjective comes after the noun, as is the case here, and normally it agrees with it in gender and number, so we see the similar ending, os. Here, you'll also see the definite article los, which has the same ending, so they all agree with each other. Now, when there are exceptions, I will gladly point them out. Let me focus on the word históricos just a little bit. In Spanish, the letter H is silent, so you begin the pronunciation of the word with the second letter, which in this case is the letter I. Remember, the Spanish I has an English double E sound. Also, note that there's an accent over the letter O, so that is where the emphasis is located. The correct pronunciation then is históricos, históricos. Now, let's say it a little bit faster. Históricos. Hey, very good, muy bien. Los reyes means the kings. Now, even though rey does not end with an O, a masculine word, or an A feminine word, it is a singular masculine noun, as are most nouns that end with a consonant. And as is common, a Spanish word that ends with a consonant simply adds an es to make it plural. Where there are exceptions, I will gladly let you know, mis amigos. De acuerdo? Agreed? Muy bien. Reyes, then, is a masculine plural noun, so it takes the same type of definite article, los, just like we saw in our previous sentence. Now, let's work on the names of the kings, Saúl, David, y Salomón. For Saúl, note that there's an accent over the letter U, so that's where the stress is. Saúl, Saúl. Now, unless there's an accent on a syllable, words that end in a consonant, like David, typically have the stress of pronunciation on the very last syllable. So here we have David, David. Remember, the V in Spanish is typically pronounced with a B sound. Finally, we have Salomón. As you can see, there's an accent over the last O, so put the emphasis right there. Salomón, Salomón. Now, let's repeat our entire sentence. Los libros históricos incluyen los reyes Saúl, David y Salomón. How we doing, amigos? ¿Todo bien? All good? Excelente. Los salmos y proverbios forman parte de la poesía hebrea. Los salmos y proverbios means the Psalms and Proverbs. As in our previous examples, we see that salmos and proverbios are both masculine plural nouns because they have the ending os. Now, since this is the case, the definite article has to follow the same pattern, so we have los. Now, before we look at the word proverbios, remember that Spanish has strong vowels, A, E, and O, and weak vowels, I and U. Now, when a weak vowel and strong vowel are next to each other, like I and O in proverbios, they form one syllable, but the emphasis is on the strong vowel. The stress of pronunciation in this word is actually on the middle syllable, ver. However, make sure that you pronounce the last syllable with the stronger sound on the O. Proverbios, proverbios. A little tricky, I know, but did you get it? Muy bien. Let's go to the last part of the sentence. De la poesía hebrea means of Hebrew poetry. De, in this context, simply means of. Now, note that poesía has an accent over the letter I. Now, we just learned that A is a strong vowel and that I is a weak vowel. So normally, when they're together, the emphasis is on the strong vowel. Correcto, right? However, when an accent is present, that takes priority, and that is where the pronunciation is stressed, which also creates a separate sound from the strong vowel. So here we have poesía, poesía. Now, the more you see these rules and their application, the easier it will get, my amigos. Repetición, repetición. Our last word is hebrea. Remember, the H is silent, so begin the pronunciation with the second letter, E. Now, note that we have two strong vowels together, E and A. When this is the case, you need to pronounce each letter separately. So here we have hebrea, hebrea. I know it's work, but keep at it, mis amigos. Let's repeat our entire sentence. Los salmos y proverbios forman parte de la poesía hebrea. Now, as a final exercise, let's repeat all three sentences. One time at a slower speed and one time at a normal conversation speed. Let's see how well you understand them. El Antiguo Testamento comienza con los 5 libros de Moisés. Los libros históricos incluyen los reyes Saúl, David y Salomón. Los salmos y proverbios forman parte de la poesía hebrea. Now at regular speed. El Antiguo Testamento comienza con los 5 libros de Moisés. Los libros históricos incluyen los reyes Saúl, David y Salomón. Los salmos y proverbios forman parte de la poesía hebrea. Well, mis amigos, I hope that you enjoyed our time together and that these exercises are helping your Spanish to improve. As always, thank you so much for your time, and Lord willing, I will see you in the next video.